Sweeney, welcome again, everybody, to the Gauntlet. And everything else I said, you're just going to have to imagine it. There's no way to recapture that. But we're very happy to be joined by Ray Robson here. Obviously, as you guys know, you can see him on the leaderboard. You know how great he did last time. I'm summarizing it now. He did really great. We're excited to see what he can do today. Gauntlet theory has advanced a little bit. This is a very, very tough show. We were reminded of that when Grandmaster Bahadur Jobava, or Super Grandmaster Jobava, had a tough go of it. It is not at all guaranteed that the GMs get to beat up on the little people. The challenge of this game show eventually is that it's like push yourself to top other scores. You have to take on so many handicaps that at some point, the little guys get to win, and the GMs find out that they've taken on too much. And I'm glad that's starting to happen. I mean, I felt bad for Bahadur at the time. It's tough to sit on Zoom with somebody and watch them lose and get upset. But that is actually what this show was designed to do. So it was my fault, and it is how it and it adds excitement and drama. It's not about the GM just coming in, winning because they're a GM, collecting their check because they're a GM. No, this is actually difficult. And fair enough, Neil. Fair enough. And let's start to see who here would like to play a game against Ray today. Our first round, we need a contestant or an opponent in the 800 to 1200 range. Chess.com rapid ratings. Then we'll need 1200 to 1600 for round 2. The level continually increases. Round 3, 1600 to 2000. If Ray has a great day in the bonus round 4, we will need to find a national master to take him on, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Who here would like to play against Ray Robson?
Anyone looking to play me?
I'm sure there are. Ray, tell us, what are you up to these days while we wait for our players? Tell us quickly. Do you have any tournaments that you're playing in or preparing for?
Yeah, basically just the U.S. Championship.
Okay.
That's
an important tournament.
Yeah.
When is that?
Yeah, that's supposed to be in October.
Okay.
Beginning of October. So only a couple months away now.
Is that expected to be classical chess in St. Louis or rapid chess on Zoom?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be classical in St. Louis again. So it will be my first tournament in 2 years. First classical over the board. So
I don't know if I should permit myself to offer you a tip, seeing as you're 5,000 points higher rated than me, but I think it could be helpful to play an over-the-board training game or two before you go to the U.S. Championships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I've played over-the-board, I guess, rapid with people, not classical, but
okay.
Which I think is helpful also. Yeah. But I don't know. Would you suggest classical?
I would. Okay, I mean, I can't believe you're letting me give you advice, but my take is this: when you're preparing for something, you want to imitate the situation as well as possible to get the best practice or training. So Kostya and I did training. We wore masks to play training games because we knew when we went to Las Vegas for the National Open, we were going to have to wear masks in the tournament hall. And I don't know if you have to wear masks in St. Louis. I guess it's a few months away. It's probably not determined yet. But anything you can do to imitate the conditions you'll be in, I think will be helpful.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's funny. I don't think I've ever really played classical. I feel like most even GMs they don't play classical training games.
Yeah,
for some reason.
They play 3-minute chess, and if they're a degenerate, they play 30-second chess.
Yeah, no, but I mean, people play rapid and stuff, but I just maybe just because classical is so long, they just figure it's you get more games in, but it's completely different playing rapid as opposed to classical. So
yeah, I have no idea. Obviously, you're a GM and have GM friends, so you can figure out a better training plan. Okay, we need an under 1200 rapid player. Is there nobody here who's weak anymore? We have been having this problem that all our dojo members have been going up in ratings.
You guys host a lot of like long time control events, right?
For like our members, like classical tournaments and stuff? Yeah, we actually do, yeah. We've been running a weekly classical tournament since I think April was the first edition I ran. And sometimes it's 1 month long and sometimes it's 2 months long. And we do like pairings by hand and split people up. And we've had over 150 people in those tournaments. So we split it into basically like 200-point rating bands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then do people usually, like, because it's classical, are they actually setting up a board at the same time, or do they just play with the online board?
For the most part, they do, yeah.
They do use the real board?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And before I went to the National Open, I played a couple training games online like that, setting up a board and playing on my board. Even from home, I still used like a board and put a mask on, and it was some decent training. And then after the National Open, I set up a tournament in my backyard. I invited some like IMs and GMs from the Bay Area over to my house, and we played classical chess in the yard.
It's nice.
So, yeah. All right, guys, find us an opponent. How can nobody be under 1200? So we've got two options. We've got Alpha Canis available, right? All right, that would be a fair opponent for round one. Perfect. All right, Alpha Canis Major. Rapid rating 1071. Absolutely fair. All right, so we've got a first round opponent, and now we are ready to find out what handicaps Ray is going to take on for this first round. So here's your menu, Ray. What are you looking for today?
Okay, so this is round one, right?
Round one. Alpha Canis Major is rated 1049 rapid chess.
Okay, so I'll do the blindfold.
Okay.
And so for the time odds, can you still do 3 times time odds?
Yeah, you can do 1 time, 2 time, 3 times.
Okay, so I'll do 3 times time
I suppose I should allow people to do 4 times and then just tell them like, oh, you lost. Good math, Sherlock.
So I'll do 3 times 3-minute time odds. Mm-hmm. And then I'll do must win in under 30 moves.
That's checkmate.
Or they could resign. You know.
Or they could resign. Yeah, they can help you out.
I'll do rooks get 5 moves each.
You won't even have time to move them 5 moves anyway, right? So might as well put that on. That brings it to 1225 so far. Steven Zierk scored 1425 once in the first round.
I'll do no en passant.
Okay. For a mere 50.
I'll do no promotion.
Okay. Also something you probably weren't going to have time for in 30 minutes, but we'll see. That brings you to 1375, only 50 points less than the most points ever scored in the first round.
Yeah, and I'll do must capture every 6 moves.
What? Oh my gosh. All right. Must capture every 6 moves. That's a very difficult one as well. 200 points for that, which would be well earned, and that would be potentially for a total of 1,575. What else do you want?
I was thinking that might be all. I mean, it's a little bit risky because I probably have to basically get all of them. I mean, not fail any of them.
Right.
But
if you had one extra one, it could be your ballast that you like fail one of them and still have a good score.
Yeah, I could do that, but you know, maybe I'll just do maybe in this game I'll just have an en passant, so I'll only lose 50 points.
Right, that would work. All right. All right, let's see if I've got this all correct. I'm going to just read them back to you once. I don't know if you took notes or if you've got the super memory. I have 3 minutes.
I have the spreadsheet open.
3 minutes time odds 3 times. Blindfold chess. Oh, that's good. Must capture every 6 moves. No promotion. No en passant. Rooks get 5 moves each and must win in under 30 moves.
Mm-hmm.
All right. For a potential of 1575, let us show what's been selected here. And why is it not showing? Why did it not update? Huh? Sorry, it's got a little technical difficulty to figure out here. Real quick, what is going on with this? Selected handicaps.
And is there some increment or delay or something?
Yeah, you've got a 2-second increment to go with your
Okay.
1 minute. All right. We've got the list of handicaps up. Folks, I'm going to ask you once. I'm not a bothersome person like this, but I'm going to ask you once to throw in a couple donations to this prize fund for Ray. Steven Zierg emptied it recently. We've been building it back up. Every week we try to raise $100 per week for the Gauntlet Prize Fund. Yeah, that allows us to make this extra fun for the GMs by, paying them for their work. All right. With that said, I'm going to go try and start the game. We'll show a chessboard here. Ray will have white in rounds 1 and 3 and black in round 2. Spicy Caterpillar. Canis Major. 10-2 unrated. If Ray's clock ever goes to 8:59, he will have lost and gain no points for the round. He can go as low as 9-0-0. And there we go. We are off. Round 1 is starting. I'm muting myself on Zoom so that Ray can focus. We've got the board. E4 and D4. Ray with some classical opening moves. He is not handicapped the pawns moving 1. He's not handicapped his pieces really other than the rooks. It's really a whole different style of handicaps from what we often see. He's going for the kill, and he's giving himself like the full ability to develop his pieces into the middle of the board, explode the middle of the board, even allowed to move his king and castle. But he's taken on a couple really, really big handicaps at once. The must capture every 6 moves and the win under 30 moves. These two do go together, but they put a huge burden on the player to play really, really well. And I would say aggressively, except we have once seen Ray win in under 30 moves, playing sort of a normal-looking Rui Lopez, and then suddenly like switching over to like, a checkmating attack that only lasted 3 moves. So, okay, his first capture was on move 4, E takes D5. That was within the 6 moves. He now has till move 10 to capture again. We almost never see this handicap used, so I'll just keep you guys aware of it. D6, that's going to ensure another capture or trade. And he saves it, Bishop G5. That looks clever, actually. All right, so Bishop G5 is on the board here. Alpha Canis is probably going to move the knight on E7, I would guess. Defend the D6 pawn with the bishop. See where Ray's headed. Ray's pieces are going to come out pretty fast and furious here. I see good squares for all of them. Knight on C3, bishop on C4, rook on E1. The thing is, every now and then he's going to be forced to make a capture in order not to lose essentially 400 points from this score, right? Because the must capture every 6 moves is 200 points. If he gets it wrong, it'll be minus 200 points. His top score for the round would be 1175, which just won't cut it. Okay, queen a5, check, interesting, knight c3. Ray has 2 more moves to make a capture, right? His last capture is on move 4. He's got till move 10, 2 moves left. Ooh, that's an annoying move from Alpha Canis Major. Next move, Ray has to capture in 2 moves. He's got 2 moves to make a capture, so now he's got 1 move left. Next move must be a capture. So he's counting on trading on c3 or d2 or something like that. We'll see which piece Alpha Canis wants to take with the knight on e4. Ray has 30 seconds left as well, and he is blindfolded. He is keeping track of this position without seeing the board. 30 seconds left, that's not a lot. He definitely spent most of that time on this last move, bishop d2. He spent 15 seconds on it. Alpha Canis, as some people in chat pointed out, could have really hurt the GM with just the simple knight f6 retreat, and basically all his pieces are out of reach of Ray's. I don't see a possible capture. I don't think the chat did either. He, however, makes the trade, and on move 6, Ray can breathe his first sigh of relief. He has made a trade. He decided on this move, that's why he thought for 15 seconds, that bishop takes e7 was just too bad a move. He couldn't play that move and still try to win the game. So he was willing to risk maybe not capturing in 6 moves with the retreat. And so now he's still got a position he wants to play. That queen a5 check move from Alpha Canis was really strong. That cost Ray a lot of effort. Any one that you fail, Defanius, any handicap that you fail, you get negative points for it. So if Ray moves one of his rooks more than 5 times, he will earn himself negative 125 points. So you can still get some points, but if you fail 1 or 2, your score like plummets really, really fast, right? So there could be a strategy, which no one has tried yet, of taking on like every single handicap and then just failing the ones that happen to come up that you fail and see how many points you get with the ones you do succeed minus the ones you don't succeed. Somebody could try that. Nobody has ever tried that. I haven't even tried it in practice because one of my weaknesses is just remembering what handicaps I have. But you could try that and see what you come out with. Right now we're up to move 12, so Ray has 18 moves left to deliver checkmate. You guys could take bets on what square he's going to checkmate on, or you could bet that he won't checkmate. He has 4 more moves till his next capture on move 16. But with the number of handicaps Ray has taken on, I would say he can't fail any of the major ones. He needs to win the game, and he needs to capture every 6 moves and win in under 30 moves to get a good score. If he fails any one handicap, he's good enough that he could maybe come back in rounds 2 and 3 and still salvage the gauntlet overall. And if he fails more than one handicap here, basically he's not going to top the leaderboard, try as he might. I'm guessing. I guess if you take every single handicap, you don't have to remember which ones you have. You just try and play for all of them. That's right, Filehecht. Ooh, this is actually looking matey. Since that queen came back to d8, I think that's a move that Alpha Canis is going to have to regret. What was this retreat about? Now suddenly it looks like black hasn't even played a move this game, right? Like, whew. I mean, how does black even stop something like queen d5 to f7 or queen f4 to d7 or knight b5 to d6 or oh my lord. Ray's got his choice of checkmates, I would almost say here, right? Knight b5 versus knight d5 versus queen d5. He goes for knight b5. He has 2 more moves to capture something or checkmate. Chat thought queen d5 was there. Ray's got 19 seconds left. I guess the bishop's maybe going to g7 to give the king a luft or something. But I'm feeling mate within 30 moves is likely. Folks, what square is black going to get checkmated on? What square will the black king be on when Ray delivers checkmate? He's still going to be on e8. He won't have moved. All right. Prepares a square. Check. Knight d6. I think Ray showing a little bit of blindfoldedness there. Oh, no. If queen d5, black could castle. That's why he gave the check. Yeah. Okay. Because it would have been nice to play queen d5 when the knight wasn't covering it. But okay, Ray gets a couple captures in. Denudes the black king. Right? Taking out that pawn cover on f7. And we'll see what comes next. Queen c7. Queen b6, maybe cheeky mate threat against the GM, who's sort of focused on winning themselves. Knight takes on h8. How's Ray doing? Has he violated anything? Must capture? No. No promotion? No. He's blindfolded? Yeah. The rooks, only one of them's moved once. He's fine on all his handicaps so far. 6 seconds left. Yeah. Now 7. Throws a super fancy tactic at the opponent. That's intense. 8 seconds left. Alpha Canis with 3 minutes doesn't have much time left either. Takes with the queen. I think he had to try the king, but I don't know. Maybe something horrible would have happened there too. Ray has 9 moves and 13 seconds left. I can't even say how many moves he has left to checkmate before he actually checkmates. Too fast for me. Too fast for me. And let's throw that axe, folks. Boom! Ray, how was it?
Yeah, it was all right. Did I fail any of the handicaps?
You did not.
There was an interesting moment on move 9. So he just played 94.
Yeah.
And then, so bishop d2 I thought was the best move. The problem was my opponent could have just moved the knight away, and there's no way for me to capture anything. So my last capture was on move 4. So I would have failed the every 6 move capture handicap.
Yeah.
But I thought probably they would take either on c3 or d2, because that's probably the best move. So I was happy that they took.
That insight. So I once had a run. I was doing the same thing, mate in 30 moves, and capture in 6 moves. And I gave up the capture in 6 moves because I wasn't willing to get a bad position, right? Like, you could have avoided it by playing bishop takes e7 on the previous move instead of bishop d2. But you're like, if I play bishop e7 and black plays, bishop e7, c3, but your position's just bad. How are you ever going to win the game quickly, right? Mm-hmm. So I made the same choice. I was like, I can't win from that bad a position. I'll give up the 6 move capture, and my opponent avoided the trade, and I lost the hundreds of points. But you were right this time. All right, so now we get into round 2. Fantastic start. 1,575 points. 150 more than the record we've had in the first round.
Round numbers are cool.
Round numbers are cool. All right. You have pushed yourself. Good work. We have had just about $50 donated towards the prize fund. Thank you to everybody with the donations. And we certainly still have time to get up to 100 this round. I appreciate it, everybody. And let's pick our next opponent. So 1,200 to 1,600 is Halgilda in line. JB, if you want to just select the opponents, you can also do that. I trust a mod to make those choices for us. Okay, we've got Halgilda. Halgilda's rapid rating is 1425. Right smack in the middle between 1,200 and 1,600. Halgilda is not only the pride of Scandinavian chess, he's the pride of Norwegian chess, responsible for a boom in chess participation in Norway. So he will be your second round opponent. Let's call up the menu again here and see what you want to try against Halgilda.
Okay, so I'll do blindfold again.
Yeah.
And I will do the same time odds.
Okay.
Then it's going to be a little bit trickier. Not sure if I should go for the win in under 30 moves with black. That could be risky.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely risky. It's got to be risky if you want to win all the money.
Let's do. I mean, we can try it. We can try it for fun. We can do win in under 30 moves again.
Okay. We're trying it. Wow.
And
I'm going to bet against you, but good luck.
well, if I'm doing. If I'm doing win in under 30 moves, I guess I should do no promotion.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I should do no en passant.
50 points. Our Swedish fans are telling you that if you threaten Scholar's Mate, that works against Norwegians.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's where I should stop. I mean, it basically all hinges on whether or not I'll be able to win in under 30 moves.
That it does. If you do, you're looking at 1250, the most points ever in round 2. If you don't, you're looking at most 650 points, and you'll just be the shame of grandmasters everywhere. Well, not really, but you'll have scored less points than I once did. So, all right. Good luck. We've got the handicaps. I'm going to try and write them over here as well. So 3 minutes, time odds times 3, blindfold. We're getting rid of the capturing every 6 moves. We're leaving no promotion, but not no en passant. We're getting rid of the rook problem and win under 30 moves.
I think no en passant is still there.
Oh, you do still want no en passant. Okay, my bad. Okay, well, actually, I'm sorry. I warned you I'd be a little less smooth today than on other days, so... Ugh. No en passant. All right, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, sorry, I'm just making sure I'm not messing it up. There we go. We've got the board ready again, and we will be giving Hagilda white here. Match Hagilda, spicy caterpillar. Don't mess up, Hagilda. This is your one chance to play Grandmaster Ray Robson. I'm giving you the white pieces. Good luck! Nope. Hagilda is not online. Maybe I misspelled it. Hang on. There we go. Spelled correctly. What a thing. All right, folks in chat, I hope you can actually see this game. Let me mute myself before I cost Ray a couple seconds off of his 60 seconds that he has to win this game. He's up to 62 seconds. That's good. He's castled. He's playing a real King's Indian defense. Knight to the rim. What do you guys think? Can Ray do this? Can he checkmate with black in under 30 moves here? I don't know. I'm going with no. I'm saying this is where Ray loses a lot of points. His first round was so good, he might still be in contention, though, right? If he gets 600 points, he'll still be at 2,100. We'll still have a chance.
Donate or your next chocolate chip cookie will have only one very small chocolate chip.
I do like a chocolate chip cookie. Wait, only one small chip? That's a threat. But you folks have already filled up the donations here. We're already 147 out of 100. Thank you very much, everybody. That is great. The money you're donating today, by the way, goes to the prize fund for next week. You know, Ray's competing for this $779 today, and you know, since there's a good chance he clears it out, your donations are important for us to have something for next week's player to play for. Meanwhile, let's look at these dark squares. What's going on? Ray's one apiece. Halgilda's king is in shreds, in rags, in ruins. Is bishop f5 next? Ray's got 40 seconds. I almost missed the game just saying, like, thank you for the donations. That was almost the end of the game right there. Bishop f5? Goodness. Bishop f7, that's not a problem. That bishop needed to go to d3 to defend here. Ray wondering what's going on blindfolded. He's got it. I think it's already over. We're going to have to, like, do a playback, right, guys? This was just too quick. We're going to need, like, a playback. Halgilda tried to blitz it with him and didn't use the 10 minutes, right? Spent about 30 seconds, just like Ray. Until stopping on this move here, he'd spent about 30 seconds on the game, just like Ray. And when you've got that 10 minutes versus 1 minute advantage against the GM, you need to use your extra time. Otherwise, you can see how easy it is to get slaughtered by somebody like the Spicy Caterpillar. You were feeling bad for taking your time? No, Alpha Canis. The time is good. We have nothing else to get to. We want to watch this. We want to watch these games, you know. That's what we're here for. Halgilda now in deep thought, but it's too late now. Yeah. And you played a great game, Alpha Canis. You're Yeah, your queen a5 move in the opening was really good. Yeah, Ray's not going to apologize for just checkmating somebody in under 20 moves. I mean, that's the handicap he took on. That's what he's got to do. And I can't believe it. We're already throwing the axe again. Ray, I know you were blindfolded, but I'm the one who didn't even see that game. It went so fast.
Okay. Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, my opponent was playing very fast, like in the beginning also.
Yeah, he came out guns a-blazing and got blazed. 1,250 points for you is the highest score ever in a second round. You now hold the highest score ever in a first round and in a second round. What are you doing today? Steven Zierk would say that you should be very conservative in rounds 3 and 4. Just try to get 300, 400 points the safest way possible.
Oh, how come?
To make sure that you get the money. You have no incentive to score more than 3750. That's all you need to do.
I don't know. It's fun to score more points, though.
It's fun to score more points. Good. That's fun for us, too. I think we'd be never bored watching you play, but it would be pretty one-sided if you took no handicaps in the next 2 rounds. Okay. This total is not adding up correctly. Let me fix it. You're not already at 3,300 because you're only 2 rounds in. That was a bonus score. Okay. You're at 2825 after 2 rounds. That makes more sense. Ray, do you have time for me to play over that game again? Because I didn't even see it.
Yeah, sure.
Is that right? I'm sorry. I actually want to see what happened. So I saw it was the King's Indian defense. Knight h5, bishop d3, trade, and you won a pawn on d4. I saw that happen.
Mm-hmm.
That was bad news for White's dark squares. And then they made the game more intense by castling queenside. Ray, I have a theory that, like, if you have a good position, then it could, like, be good to castle queenside. It makes it, like, even more, like, intense. And if you've got a bad position, then you wouldn't want to castle queenside because...
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think I get what you're saying. Haven't really thought about it exactly like that. Yeah. I mean, casting kingside is usually safer. So,
right. Like, I'm in some position where I've got a small disadvantage, right? Like, if I castle kingside, maybe it's like harder work for the other person. If I castle queenside, sometimes it can exacerbate the intensity and, like, a small development lead or a small central lead can have more of an impact.
Yeah, I mean, castling queenside is usually riskier in general. So if you're already worse, that could be bad. Or if you're able to castle queenside and your position's still good, probably you had a strong position.
Yeah. Was there any point this game where you went from like, I don't know if I can win in 30 moves with black to I think I can do it?
Well, it all happened very quickly. Like in around move 7, I mean, he was playing solidly and then also very fast. So like even by move 10, I won a pawn, but I'm like, okay, a third of the moves have already gone by. I'm only up one pawn.
Right.
Like he castles kingside. It looks like it's going to be really hard for me to win quickly. But then when he castled queenside, I start to get a lot more hopeful. And I think b5 was a good practical sacrifice just to open up the b file. And then he didn't even take it. And then after that, I felt like I had very good chances.
So that's a big moment. I think a lot of people, even people who are willing to sack a pawn, would play a6, b5. Mm-hmm. And you just threw it. That's the big move I missed today. Cool. b5. I don't know how you come up with it. I wouldn't have played it. Okay. And then he plays b3.
Yeah.
And that's the best possible scenario for you. He weakens the dark squares a little more.
Yeah.
And then you can bring your queen to a5. And then I saw the denouement from here. Wow. Okay, fantastic. Who is our third round opponent for Ray? The next opponent is the Chess Kid 90 with an 1801 rapid rating. And that's right in the middle of that range. So perfect. The Chess Kid 90. Let me call up our menu again. What would Monsieur like for the third course?
I'll do blindfold again.
Okay, blindfolded again. It almost doesn't count when you see the board that well inside your head. No, it counts.
I'll do the same time odds.
Okay.
And then let's think. I can do the rooks. Rooks get 5 moves each.
Okay. Rooks get 5 moves each for 125 points. It's very excellent.
And
For 925, that would tie. No, that would be 50 points less than the round 3 record of 975.
I'll do no en passant.
All right. That might be exactly the recipe that was used by Chris Yu, but I wasn't the host that week, so I don't know for sure.
Yeah. I'll also do. I mean, 975. That's what Chris got, right?
That's what Chris got. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this is pretty good, but then I'll only get at max the same points, so I want to try at least one more.
Ray, we should just invite you every single week. We should do 30 episodes in a row of Ray Robson. Even though he's won the money, he just wants to push himself.
I'll do no promotion again.
No promotion. 100 points there. We've seen some advancing endgame theory of like what endgames can you win with like, you know, a bishop and 6 pawns against a king and stuff like that. You know, how do you like checkmate when you can't promote? It's a fun field of study. That would be for 1075. Yeah, you could send a picture of that to Chris Yu if you do it. All right, and I've got the Chess Kid 90. I've verified rapid and blitz ratings are just in line with what we're looking for. So I think we're ready to get into round 3 here. Let us... Oh, actually, there's one thing I need to do. I need to make sure all this is correct. So, sorry. To transfer the information from one spreadsheet to another. Okay, we've got no promotion, no en passant, rooks get 5 moves. Okay. That's good. We're good. We can go. So we will switch to our board and our selected handicaps, and we will start the game here. Round 3 is underway. Good luck to both participants.
Good luck.
Mute the annoying host, at least for Ray. The rest of you, I guess, chose to listen to me. And here we are into round 3. Ray Robson playing for 1,000+ points in round 3 against an 1,800. And if the chess kid is actually a kid, he may also be underrated. Everybody's scared of playing kids. Brings out the Carl Khan. You guys probably want me to put Ray on the bottom. I don't care, but I guess I'll do it for you this time. Normally I don't. The chess kid will need to slow down at some point. That is true, post. That's what we learned in round 2 today. If you've got 10 minutes, use some of those 10 minutes. Ray playing a complicated and fancy positional line, but this bishop's just lost. What? Oh no, it can take on b1. Ray was probably thinking there. He stopped and thought for a while because he was probably thinking about knight b1 to d2 or a3 or something to see if, does he think that he can set up a full trap on the piece? Well, now he can definitely play knight d2, right? Another big donation from Baron. Thank you, Baron. Thank you to all our donators. I'm sorry, there's so much going on. I haven't been able to call people out individually, and I only have one monitor, basically. I can't see as much as I normally see. But all those donated bits will be manually tallied up by me later and added to the prize fund for next week. Don't call you out. Okay, great. Knight d2 is a strong move. I mean, already uncomfortable for black, I would say. Ray's got his eyes on the e4 pawn. I mean, his blindfolded eyes, but, he's staring at the empty e4 square on his computer, probably. Does he stare, or do his eyes move? His eyes move around, so he does use the blank board. His eyes do sort of like move around the blank board as if he were tracking stuff there. Position's complicated. He hasn't moved his rooks yet. That's the one he's going to have to keep track of. Handicap he hasn't been working with in the first 2 rounds is the rooks have 5 moves each. He's going to have to keep track of those. I actually used it in the first round, but it didn't come up at all. Didn't even use the rooks. He has now won a pawn.
If you have the time, maybe we can ask Ray if he wants to do a 5th round with all handicaps just for fun.
Just for the lulz, huh, Scotty? Is that what they say? Just for the lulz? If he wants to try every single handicap for fun, that would be like a bonus round. By the way, chat, odds are we're gonna need a national master for the final round. Do we have somebody ready? Do we have someone in the wings? JB or any other mod, if you can try and pick a national master opponent for round 4, make sure that somebody is ready to go in case Ray scores 300 points or more this round. That's all it would take, 200 points actually. Basically in case he wins this game. He's up a pawn, and otherwise the game is still going. He hasn't moved the rooks yet. He is in an endgame, though. Did he have to trade those queens? I'm clicking between so many windows. I'm not doing a great job today. My apologies, everybody. Luckily, Ray is doing a great job for us. So it's kind of like a great, crazy moment with or without commentary. I guess if he retreats, that black queen's pretty prime. So he just traded and set up for an endgame where his rooks only have 5 moves and he's not allowed to promote. That is pretty tough. He's got 6 seconds left to win this game as well. 6 seconds. He's shaking his head. It's hard to keep track of with 6 seconds. Brings the knight into e5 quickly. I think he's worried about his 6 or 7 seconds. Maybe he got zoned in and forgot how much time he was using for a moment there or something. I don't know. It's hard to keep everything remembered. 95. Gonna have to recapture quickly. By Ray's standards, that wasn't that quickly. All right. H4. Oh, rook trades might actually be good for him here, even though he has the no promotion, just because his rooks are going to die. Well, he probably wants to win another pawn before trading all the rooks. And then how does he ever win without promoting? I'm not really sure of how Ray wins this game, actually. Just don't know yet. Maybe putting a rook on f7 now that black tried h6. I think h6 may have been a better defense one move ago from a pure chess perspective than it was on this move. 3 seconds left. There we go. Okay, that rook's got 3 moves left now. So he didn't try the rook f7 idea. Promotion is 100 points. I think he could have gone rook f7, allowed a rook trade and won. Maybe won with the promotion the other way. Maybe here he's going to have to go e6, e7 and threaten that promotion. I mean, what else does he have to work with here? One dying rook, right? Now the king has to come into the middle. On king c6, he'll probably play b4. Okay, he's avoided flagging, which is already good. I mean, if he flagged, it would be all over. So that's a good start that he's not flagging. Now what does he need to do? His rook has 3 moves left. Did he do an en passant? Oh, he did with f5. E takes f6, right? Oh, thanks for the reminder. No en passant in red. That's decreasing his margin here. Decreasing his margin. Rook's got 2 moves left now. Covers c5, planning to play b5 and king takes d5. The position is becoming overwhelming here. I think he is like in a winning position for the moment. And the main thing he had to do was avoid flagging. I mean, he really had to make sure of his time. That was necessary. Now he's preparing to maybe put his king on d6 with this check. Yep. King gets in. Moves the rook again unnecessarily, I think. I don't know. How many moves does this rook have left? I'm going to say 1. 1 move left for that rook, I think, right? Does that sound about right? I think he's going to have to violate one of his handicaps to win this game. I think it should be the rook. He should just play rook f8. Okay. The rook and the promotion. The rook and the promotion. All right. Tough game. Tough game.
No promotion. There was no way I could not promote there.
Yeah, you just did not have it to do it. Oh, the rook only moved 5 times when it went to f8, right?
Yeah.
That was only the 5th move. So your opponent could either let you move the rook a 6th time to checkmate on c8, or they could make you promote. It was kind of about the same. So this game is going to be the no promotion that gets violated. The rook successfully only moves 5 times.
I didn't realize that I en passanted, actually.
Yeah. Took me a while to realize it when I did that once too. All right, let me hide our scoreboard and do some counting here from our menu. We'll see. Time odds, success. I got worried about your time at one point, did you?
Yeah, well, somehow I kept seeing I had like 903 as I was about to move, and then after I moved, I would still only have 903. So I was worried.
Yikes.
Like I was almost flagging.
Minus 50. That's 775 points, if I've done the math right.
Okay.
Chat, Chat may confirm it for me. They often catch my errors. That's the reason why we have a chat. No promotion, no en passant. I think those were the only two. He won the rook move 5 times. Yeah, I think I should have this correct. So that would be 775 points for a 3-round total of 3,600. Okay, beautiful. Very good 3 rounds. Do we have a National Master waiting in the wings? I haven't been able to keep track of chat at once. I have to pick 1 or 2 windows at a time to look at here. Do we have a National Master ready to take on Grandmaster Ray Robson in the bonus 4th round? No. Couldn't catch one in the wild. Oh my goodness. Okay. Extra difficulties. Extra difficulties. The ping to NM roll doesn't work, huh? Okay. Well, let's just go to the server and start asking people one at a time then, if that's how it is.
Beware the spicy caterpillar, watch for the sour butterfly, keep a lookout for the tangy grasshopper. As the tart beetle walks by, they can look so harmless, but you must not take the bait, because you might not see the threat, but you'll surely feel the mate.
I didn't understand that. I'm gonna have to read that later somehow.
How many NMs are usually available?
We have 6 on the dojo server right now, so I'm just gonna send them messages and see how that goes. See if we can't rustle one of them up.
So how did Stephen and Benjamin do against the NMs?
They both won their games. Benjamin played like an excellent game. I think he pretty much only had like blindfold as his handicap, if I remember correctly. Let me see. Let's see, 11, 21, 29. He must have maybe like no en passant and blindfold, something like that. And he played just like a very, very high quality game. And Steven, I think, played also just blindfold, no other handicaps. He had a huge score at that point, 32-25 in the first 3 rounds. So I think he took only handicap and played normally with the full 10 minutes. Bach may have taken a 3 minutes off as well in his game. No, 2 of our NMs are playing a 2-hour training game against each other right now. That's not... Okay, I'm just going to ping everybody. All right.
Are there any other potential title players?
We have a 2150 USCF player in chat who could be our backup here. It's very, very close. Evan is up for it. Oh, great. All right, we've got Evan.
Who's Evan?
Evan Rosenberg.
He's an NF.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so let me bring back up our menu here. All right. What would you like to try, Ray, here?
I'll do play blindfold.
Okay.
I guess I'll do the time odds, but ×2 instead of ×3.
All right.
And we can do yeah, it's hard. It's not that easy to do that many handicaps.
Indeed. That's what we're here to find out. Certainly not easy.
Yeah, like even last game with the rooks get 5 moves, it was very difficult to like, I don't know. I tried really hard not to move my rooks in the beginning because I knew I was going to run rooks quickly. I'll do no en passant.
No en passant again?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, there's a fighter jet here. You're going back for the en passant?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. By the way, you need 150 points to top the previous high score on the leaderboard. You're 125 points away right now.
Okay.
Okay. So going for 750. Let's... Okay, get rid of that. Okay, I've got that set up. All right, we'll take away this, bring up our chessboard, and go and get this game started. Oh, and we're live.
All right. Should I be white or black?
You are white, and you have up to 6 minutes and 00.
Okay. Just wondering because I was white 2 out of the first 3,
Yeah.
so I was expecting to be black. But I'm okay if I'm white.
Yep. All right, here we go. I'll bring him down to the bottom for your ease of viewership. So yeah, he can't go lower than 6. That's exactly right, Coder Future. He can go down to 600. Anything lower, and he would lose. Knight takes e5, queen d4, and he would lose. So we won't be seeing that. And I think you guys can see up here, the only handicaps are the time odds, the blindfold, and the no en passant. So he can play almost normal chess, right? He could win in an endgame if that's what it takes. He just has to be able to keep track of the position and play a great game blindfolded in 4 minutes of time.
And when does my time run out again? Sorry. I don't know if you can still hear me, but
I can hear you. You can go down to 600. If you go to 559, you lose.
All right. Thank you.
All right, and we've got an exchange Ruy Lopez, right? Or maybe a slightly delayed exchange Ruy Lopez, but still it's that structure. This pawn on e5 will probably be defended by f6 at some point. Oh, white's looking to play knight to g5 if the bishop retreats. That's why Eben has stopped to think on this exact move. Knight b3 opening up the bishop. wants to play knight g5 and trap that bishop and trade it off before black has time for f6. So Evan doesn't want to play bishop e7, but might, decides against it finally. I don't know exactly what would have been terrible with bishop e7, other than just that it would be passive. You know, with the knight on b3, it could never get back to the diagonal it wanted to be on. Ray knew what he wanted. He played knight g5 in 1 second here. And here we are. So, final game of Ray's Gauntlet. He does have to win this game if he wants to top the leaderboard, right? I mean, we've said how great his performance was, how easy it would have been for him to top the leaderboard if he basically took no handicaps. I mean, he could have maybe just taken a couple minutes of handicap and gotten rid of blindfold. But he does have to win a game against a strong player. He does have to do it blindfold. Something bad could happen. I was once cruising through a training run on the Gauntlet, and in the third game, just hung my queen. I forgot where one of my opponent's pieces was. I knew where every single other piece on the board was, but I forgot where one piece of theirs was and just hung my queen for nothing in a position where I was well on my way to winning. So you never know for sure. Ray makes it look like he's just playing normal chess, but it is never guaranteed. As long as you're blindfolded, it's a huge effort and something could happen. So, what is the plan to win here? Good question. We can talk like National Master GM level chess here, right? We might as well just get into real chess talk here. The plan to win. I guess it's too early for a plan to win, right? The plan is to increase the advantage. To increase the advantage, I think we want to trade black's e5 pawn for either the d pawn or the f pawn. Two different flavors for how to play these positions as white. And knight to d2 to me signals that Ray is going to go with knight c4, king h1, and f4. That's my guess. Basically, we're at a point in the game where we're just talking improving our position with like some small positional plans, not winning. And right now, when you're looking for a plan at this phase, coming out of the opening, entering into the middle game, what you want to do is figure out somewhere on the board where you might be advantageous, like somewhere where you have like a small advantage, maybe somewhere where your opponent has a weakness. You can try and build strength somewhere where you think you're already strong, and you can also look for what file you want to open, right? So what file might we want to open here for white is going to be either the F file or the D file. And H5 shows some weird aggression from Rosenberg. I think trying to discourage Ray from F4 by saying, hey, I could suddenly castle queenside and attack your king. Are you sure you want to make moves over here? Ray's pretty sure he wants to make moves over here. Is G5 going to come next to clamp on F4? Maybe. If so, Ray will have to completely switch plans. All right, there it is. So I think Ray and Evan were both in agreement with me that the plan for white was F4. Now Ray's going to completely switch plans, right? Completely switch plans. So now black's got these heinous weaknesses on the king side if their king tries to go there. So Ray's thinking of playing D4 instead of F4 and opening the center. He's also going to be looking if there's any way to poke at the queen side and open something there if black castles, right? So it could be like knight A5 and then a knight sack that lets you open up the A file, knight B7 or knight C6 if black castles queenside. It could be knight A5 and then B4, C4 and the B5 pawn break. He may also, before any of that, try to bring his knight to F5. Honestly, if black takes on E3, both knight E3 and FE3 are really good, to the point where I'm not sure which Ray would choose. We've got a bot in chat. F5 could be a very nice outpost. Exactly, Jaliptic. Rosen's thinking hard, as masters are able to do. He's battling our own Moo bot. 1 second. Just closing the door against some stray screams. You're crushing the bot. Well, good for you, Daster. Good for you. All right, Rosenberg really in the tank. At some point here, he's just got to make that choice, even though it's a tough one. And probably bring the bishop back to c5, right? Probably bishop c5 here. Then white could play d4. Pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes. Oh, it's so awkward. Bishop d4. Okay. I think Ray will be willing to play c3. It weakens the d file a little bit, but I think it's not a horrible concession. I think Ray will be willing to do it. Yeah. Gives it a few seconds thought, but he's okay with it. I think. Whoa! I thought Rosenberg would now trade on e3 and then castle queenside to try and use the d file, but now it comes back to b6. This is some confusing level positional considerations these players are doing here, right? Like, if we trade on this square or on that square, which piece gets one tiny little edge? Do I trade my knight? Do I trade my bishop? I think actually in this position the knights are as good, if not better, than the bishops. You guys have heard me tout the bishops so many times. This may surprise you slightly, but I do believe there are great positions for knights. And there's nothing wrong with the bishops here, but like if white traded this knight and kept this bishop's a little bit locked up right now. The knight has some more hops left, right, in this f5 square, so I would expect the bishop actually to be the one to trade. Okay, connecting the rooks first. Ray is playing super, super precisely here. He's working very hard. He is not playing anything loose. He's really playing, like, you know, the moves that he thinks would be absolutely the best in a classical game against another 26 or 2700 grandmaster. Rosenberg plays a careful move here with f6. I think the big plan for black would be to bring the knight to e8, but because he's trying to maintain this tension on b6 and not himself trade, his knight is frozen. At some point, he may have to blink. But this has been quite the stare down over this trade. You know there's going to be a trade, but nobody knows when. And Rosenberg holds steady. And Ray just like overprotecting his own mildly weak d3 pawn. The tension is just so thick. Even Ray had to sigh briefly there. There was one Ray sigh intermingled in 10 of my own sighs. I think sometimes I take this worse than the players. Wow, he's really going to protect that d3 pawn. This is no weak pawns left behind from Ray Robson. Such a careful approach to this opposite side castling position. And you notice at the moment, Rosenberg's not throwing these pawns any further forward, right? I mean, he's very concerned about just positional control of these squares on the f-file. He doesn't want to allow Ray to switch back to the f4 plan, even with the rook. Even the move g4 is not undertaken lightly, because now with rook f1, you know, Ray could play f4 at some point. Okay, but d3 gets overprotected. We have to imagine d4 will have to come now that black's throwing such an attack, right? A central counter with d4. But if you're going for d4, you probably start off with the trade, and he does keep the knight. After all that, he does keep the knight. I can't take it. It's too intense, and they're just like, you know, it's just the kind of positional trade that I get wrong in my games. Maybe that's my stress here. Okay. But it's nice to see he's valuing the knight. We can make some notes to ourselves and learn something. Knight goes to e3, not a5. a5 is, you know, an outpost. If you were playing for a kingside attack, a5 could be good. If you had a rook here, king attack, right? He could go for like d4 and then like a knight sack on b7 with the queen. Honestly, if the rook were still on a1, knight a5 might have been a good move. Instead, it comes here. It can still cover the king. It can come to f5. And look, now he's opening the f-file, saying that g4 is exploitable. Basically saying that g4 is exploitable. Black can't allow FG4, so black's going to have to either push or trade. H3, even if white doesn't accept the sack but plays G3, it doesn't achieve much extra. So, what will it be? What will it be? Wow, and Rosenberg down to 1.5 minutes. Ray has 1 minute and 39 seconds. Oh, they have exactly the same amount of time, actually, if you count that Ray doesn't have those 6 minutes. Now he's 5 seconds up on the clock, so we have to worry about black's time a little bit here. Trade on F3. Oh, that weak F file. Careful, King B8. At a high level, these positions can be so careful sometimes. Whew. And notice he wants to play on the F file, but he's not in a hurry to take his rooks off of over protecting that D pawn. Ray has been so kind to that little D3 pawn. He gets his king one step out of like back rank mates for later on. And, you know, we could see like queen F5 going for an endgame at some point, which I think Rosenberg would have to avoid. Ray first challenges this pawn. I think if he goes for queen F5, the queen is usually going to go to B3 and sort of heckle his rear over there. So now it's a choice between rook F8 getting tied up on that file or rook H6 trying to defend from the side but allowing moves like knight F5 to hit with tempo. Everything's committal. It's just so much stress. And finally he plays queen B3 preemptively without defending the pawn. So what's the idea against queen F6? That rook is defended. I know Ray's position feels loose, but the rook was defended. I didn't see it in time. I don't know why Ray couldn't take the pawn on F6. But his queen comes back to cover things. She may even head into C2. This rook switches over to the F file. The D pawn needs that protection. Needs that pro-pro. On rook H6, there may just be knight G4 winning a pawn. On rook F8, there may just be knight G4 winning a pawn. Suddenly, things are looking terminal on that F file. Wow. Sometimes you like maneuver, it seems so slow, and then in one move, like suddenly the pace just completely switches up. Okay, queen E6, he found the one defensive move. And yeah, Ray couldn't get breakthrough on the F file, but he's about to break through on the clock. Rosenberg with like 5 seconds to play this game. Holy moly. And Ray just keeping the tension. You can't trade on F5, never. Now is there knight D6, rook F6, maybe. It gives up B2 though. Ray's going to spend a little bit of time. He's the one with extra time, may as well use it, right? Knight D6, CD6, rook F6, rook F6, rook F6, queen B2. That's awkward. You have to be very careful when there's a pawn on H3 when you open things up. And he covers it extra. He just steps back and covers it. Wow. Now there's rook takes E5, probably? Yeah, there is. Maybe black needed rook H8 on that other move. Check over here. Queen D1 is threatened. Ray's blindfolded. Ray's blindfolded. Has to just come back to E2. Okay. He's blind, but he can see. How to ever win this game, even with the extra pawn? I mean, that H3 pawn is just a monster. If your queen can get out and get to H5, then she can keep black tied down to stuff. So that's what he's looking at now, or, you know, thinking of now. No, queen F2. Looking at queen F5, perhaps. Ooh. Gets that queen trade. Ray is thrilled. Rook F3, bring the king to that poor D pawn. You guys can see why Rosenberg spent so much time playing that bishop D4, and he loses on time. That's the flip side of spending a lot of time and coming up with such a great move. We're going to throw the axe one more time. Grandmaster Ray Robson. Boom! How do you feel, Ray? Was that a tough enough challenge?
Yeah, no, that was my opponent sent a message in the chat after the game. But yeah, no, it was an interesting game. I mean, it was actually very theoretical. The first almost 15 moves were actually very theoretical. And I mean, he misplayed it a bit because he obviously moved his bishop a lot in the beginning with bishop. I mean, bishop a7 is okay, but then he went to d4 and back to b6. So if he went to put his bishop on b6, he could have just kept it there instead of retreating it.
So it's okay for black to allow knight g5, knight takes e6, or
yeah, knight g5. That's all like
all
standard theory. Yeah, and then normally after, let's say I move 10, traditionally black was usually casting kingside. In general, like maybe queen e7 first, but black would be casting short. But casting queenside is also completely playable. In fact, I would like probably to castle queenside with black if I can in these structures. Because it looks scary. The a file is open, and looks like I just need to, maybe play b5 at some moment, maybe c4, b5, and everything will open up. But it's actually a lot harder for white to attack that queenside clump, those 4 pawns over there.
Yeah.
Than it looks. So yeah, casting queenside is definitely a good idea. And then I feel like I was probably a bit better, but it was still hard to play. Like he was pushing on the king side with g4, h4, which looks scary for me also. But I think when I played f3, basically there was no way for him to make a breakthrough on the king side, and then I should be somewhat better because he weakened f5 score by pushing his pawn so much, and
all
also
the handicaps for the moment.
I just have a bit more control of the center maybe, but it was still it was still a difficult position to play for me.
Yeah, I mean, you had a real positional battle that game. We got to see some really cool details. That bishop d4 move, which cost him time, I mean, it did show that you had to defend that d3 pawn. You spent so much effort and care covering that d3 pawn.
Yeah, bishop d4, I wasn't sure what to do because c3, playing c3, b4 for white can be a plan, potentially, but it does weaken d3, which will always, that's a problem which will never go away.
Yeah.
The only way it could go away is if I play d4, but then e4 and d4 pawns might be vulnerable after he takes on d4. So yeah, after bishop d4, I was considering taking on d4 as well, but I decided to just play c3 since at least I gained a few tempi. It looked like forcing his bishop to go all around the board.
Yeah. I almost thought that maybe he shouldn't play g4. I mean, I don't really know what anyone should do, but it seemed like g4 gave you this f3 idea, and maybe if he just sits instead of launching his attack, it's going to take a while to work up a plan.
Yeah, I think I probably would have done something similar. Like once he's played g5, f5 is always weak, so I probably would have played like rook d1, bishop takes b6, knight e3 anyway. And then he's if he's not playing g4, h4, he doesn't really have a amazing plan either.
Yeah, he's just sitting. Sure.
So yeah, that's why I think it's a bit better for white, but yeah, these positions are tough. I mean, this is actually a line that I've played a lot with white, but still, it's still hard for me to always know exactly what to do here.
Right. Well, fantastic, Ray. It took you 3 times as long as your first time on the Gauntlet. That was partly our fault, rustling up opponents for you, but definitely a more intense run with that bonus round. And you now have doubled my personal score on the Gauntlet. How does it feel to make me look so bad?
That wasn't my goal. I was not. That wasn't my focus. I wasn't really looking at your.
I know my score's way down. You didn't even see it on the list.
Yeah, no, I was just really trying to score as much as I could and see like what was possible. And
Absolutely.
Overall, I think it went well. Obviously, the third round I failed the en passant and the no promotion.
Yeah.
So I have to think about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's a good reminder to everybody that it's not just easy, right? I mean, if you just do every single thing you want to, people might be like, of course, he's a GM. Every GM can play blindfold bullet chess while like not moving their rooks or whatever. So yeah, it was appropriate that it was difficult. And you did also set the bar very high for our future contestants, which I appreciate, because that means that the next people come in have to take harder and harder handicaps to try and clear out the prize fund, which you've done today. But chat, you guys are going to refill the prize fund, right? So we can bring in some other GMs in the future. Throw a few dollars at the prize so we can invite some people in and see if anybody can top 43.50. I'd like to see them try. All right, Ray, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to have you. And yeah, I hope we'll be able to watch your games in the future. And, you know, anytime you're doing anything, let us know, because we'd like to watch.
All right. Thanks, David. I had a lot of fun. And yeah, bye to everyone from chat, and thanks for watching.